Hey future Maryland real estate licensee, welcome to a session where we review the Maryland Real Estate Commission public meeting. This one is going to review what they discussed on December the 20th, 2023. Thank you for coming back to check out our channel. My name is Brenda Kasuva, your go-to Maryland real estate instructor. Let me have a disclaimer. This is what I heard when the meeting was conducted on that day, and I would like to invite you to attend their future meetings. Once again, they're public, and they happen on the third Wednesday of the month at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You can attend online or call in. I hope to see you this month. The meeting started off with motions that were approved to the previous month's complaints and the minutes from that meeting. We were 19 of us in attendance, and that includes the staff and the real estate volunteer commissioners. We heard about education. You'll hear about that. The legislative report, what they're going to be working on in 2024. A report from the executive director, the chairperson presented, and lastly we had public comments. We're going to review that in this particular video. First up was education. Here's where we're going to go through the numbers. On the salesperson side, 770 individuals went to take the salesperson exam. This might have been the first time or the sixth time. There is no limit as to how many times you can go to take the exam. The limit, however, is on the time frame. What that means is when you complete your course, let's assume it is January the 30th of 2024, you have 1 year from that date to go and pass both parts of the exam. The report presented for the month of November showed that 210 individuals went to take the exam for the first time. 83 passed on the first try. Congratulations, giving us a percentage of 39.5%. Since there are two parts on the exam, the national side and the Maryland real estate law, here we focus on the Maryland law part of the exam. This is the one that produces 30 questions on the salesperson exam, 40 questions on the broker exam. In the month of November, 49 individuals took that part of the exam for the first time. Out of the 49 individuals, 26 passed on the first try. Congratulations. In the month of November 2023, congratulations goes out to the 132 individuals that passed and ready to get their salesperson exam. This individual has 1 year from the date they passed the exam. Example, if you passed the exam on November 26th of 2023, you have 1 year till November 26th, 2024 to interview different brokers and decide on which one you're going to have your affiliation with. Let's look what it looks like on the side for people who want to be brokers or associate brokers. These are individuals who completed their 135 hours and went to take the broker exam. Here are the numbers. November 2023, 49 individuals went to take the broker exam. 8 individuals took the broker exam for the first time in the month of November. 4 of them passed on the first try, giving us a percentage rate of 50%. When we focus on the Maryland part of the exam, Here's where it offers 40 questions. 9 individuals took the Maryland part of the exam for the first time in the month of November 2023. 2 of them passed on the first try. Congratulations! The next presented topic was on legislative. This one was presented by the chairperson. A lot of it is going to be review from the previous video available on our channel. You can click on it at the top right to see what they discussed in the previous month. In 2024, these are the things that they will be working on in terms of getting laws passed. The first one is to have radon test done for all residential properties, including apartments. They are going to be engaging with other departments, the biggest one being Maryland Department of Environment. The conversation continues in terms of learning from other states to have the requirement of background and fingerprinting check in place for any individuals who are getting their Maryland real estate license, and also for those of us who already have one when we are doing our renewal. Stay tuned on that. The residential property disclosure disclaimer statement is going to go through an update sometime in 2024. If you're not familiar with that document, check out a video that we did. The link is presented on the description. As you're working towards passing your Maryland real estate exam, we have 2 resources for you. P.R.E.S, Pass Real Estate Exam in Simple Steps, and the Maryland Real Estate Exam Study Guide. Both are found on our website, trainingwithbrenda.com. The Maryland Real Estate Exam Study Guide will focus on the Maryland part of the exam, with 30 questions on the salesperson and 40 questions on the broker exam. We offer you practice questions to review the content, exclusive video playlist for visual learners, study outline and tips, and extensive topic review to make sure that you pass the 6 parts of the exam. As you look to pass the National Real Estate Exam, look no further. Pass Real Estate Exam in Simple Steps. P.R.E.S is a platform that will offer you weekly practice questions, weekly live 30 minutes with a qualified instructor to answer your questions or do a review, self-paced material for you to review the content, practice questions on all the 11 topics on the exam, and a practice exam to simulate what you might experience when you go sit for the licensing exam. We give you 3 days to check it out and decide whether it's the one for you. Go to trainingwithbrenda.com. The executive director then presented their report. This is where we're going to go through my favorite part, which is the numbers. The first thing that was talked about is the fees. These fees include, once you pass the exam, you're going to pay a fee in order for you to get your real estate license. In order for those fees to be increased, they have to go through a process, which is putting it on the Maryland Register and receive public comments within a 60-day window. That was presented sometime in December, and in the February meeting, they are going to review. You're going to see the fees that they proposed to increase when you're getting your salesperson license, your associate broker license, your broker license, reinstatement, and so on. So stay tuned. February is when we're going to have the definite. My favorite to share, we are currently 49,386 of us that have a Maryland real estate license. This includes the total number. In this number includes individuals who are licensed in other states, and Maryland happens to be one of those other licenses that they currently have. How is that broken down? Salespeople, 41,085. Associate brokers is an individual such as myself. This person has completed the 135 hours, went and passed the exam, but not ready to start their own brokerage since there can only be one broker per company in Maryland. This individual is labeled as an associate broker. They have been licensed for 3 years as well. The number is 3,195 of us that have an associate broker license. Brokers, individuals who have the broker license for Maryland are 4,311 individuals. Each month, we shall hear the numbers or the amount currently in the Guaranty Fund. As of the meeting in December, the balance was $1,297,782. Let's review a little bit about the Guarantee Fund, or rather, how is it collected or where is it collected from? Each new licensee will contribute $20 the first time. So if you're watching this and you're working on getting your salesperson's license, when you get that license, you're going to pay $20. The minimum allowed in this fund is it cannot go below $250,000. It is collected once with a new license. How I say that differently is you just passed the salesperson exam, you got your license on January the 26th, 2024. 3 years later, you decide to take the broker exam and pass, get your associate broker license. That's the first time you're getting the associate broker license. So when you get that license, you're going to contribute $20 to the Guarantee Fund. Let's assume 6 months later, you open your brokerage. That's the first time you're getting your broker license. You're going to contribute $20 into it. So you only contribute once when you get that license. The rules in order for money to be paid out of this fund is that the individual needs to put a claim within 3 years of that thing happening or discovery of it. The money that's going to be paid out is only going to cover actual financial losses. What that means is it will not cover instances of when you had to lose hours or employment or compensation because of you trying to take care of this thing. It comes as a result due to theft, embezzlement, forgery, or fraud. To renew your real estate license, you need to complete continuing education hours. We're going to review that and then pause a little bit and talk about something that will continue in the future meetings in reference to the renewal. Stay tuned. Let me do a quick review. Any individual who got their license before October 2023, you know the continuing education requirement for salespeople. It includes you completing 3 hours on legislative, code of ethics, 3 hours, 3 hours on the topic of brokerage relationship and disclosure, BRAD. Some of us will label that still as agency. Fair housing, minimum of 1.5 hours. In previous videos, you might have heard me use the acronym LEAF, legislative topic, ethics, agency, fair housing. Those are the mandatory topics. which leaves 4.5 hours elective topics for a salesperson. Individuals who are supervising others have one extra class. Extra doesn't mean that it is more than 15 hours. It is still within the 15 hours required of continuing education within a 2-year cycle. Remember, this is a minimum of 15 hours. You can always take more. Those who supervise others, brokers, team leaders, or managers are required to still take legislative topic, ethics, brokerage relationship, minimum of 3 hours, fair housing, minimum 1.5 hours. Within that 15 hours, the topic they're required to take is broker supervision. That leaves 1.5 hours minimum on elective topics. Here's what is different for an individual who gets their license after October 1st, 2023. For the first cycle, meaning you got your license on January the 30th, you have 2 years to complete your continuing education. Minimum is 15 hours. However, your topic, since you got your license after October 1st, 2023, are going to be different. What do they include? 3 hours on the topic of contracts, advertising, and brokerage relationship and disclosure, including seller disclosure. We then have 3 hours on property management. So 4 classes, each one of them are 3 hours in review, contracts, advertising, brokerage relationship and disclosure, seller disclosures, and property management. The remaining 3 hours is broken into 1.5 classes, which are on professionalism, and the last topic is on financing. After your renewal, which is going to be January the 30th, 2026, because you've gotten your 2 years. After that, you will default to the required hours as a salesperson. And then if you've updated or upgraded your license, you're going to be doing what we call the regular continuing education for brokers, team leaders, and or managers. The system in place right now does not allow you to renew your license if it does not see the required classes that you're supposed to take. However, what is going to be discussed in future meetings is going to include how they can improve upon the system. Let's talk about it. Let me start off with the process. At least 60 days prior to the expiration of your license, you're going to get a notice, or maybe what I'm going to call a reminder, sharing with you what you need to do in order to renew your real estate license. If the system does not show the minimum required hours, you will not be able to renew your real estate license. So what does that mean? You need to complete the minimum required hours by the expiration date. That's what the law says. The schools are given 3 business days to upload your information to the Real Estate Commission database. So here what is being discussed is, let's use an example. Brenda's real estate license is supposed to expire on January the 16th, 2024. I am required to complete my minimum 15 hours by that date. Things have happened. I was not able to do it ahead of time, and I'm doing my continuing education on that date. However, maybe it's a holiday, or again, the schools are given 3 business days to upload that confirmation to the Real Estate Commission. So if I go to the Real Estate Commission website to renew my license on January the 16th, I will not be able to, because most likely the school provider has not provided that information yet. So now here's where they're going to be discussing how to remedy that, because I completed my classes before my expiration date. But the schools have 3 business days to upload that information, and currently the system will treat me as if I'm not able to renew my license, therefore it expires, and in order to reinstate it, I have to pay a reinstatement fee of $150. This is something that they're going to be discussing and come up with a way to handle that for those individuals who might experience that. If you have experienced that, contact the Real Estate Commission for them to help you further. The meetings will have the opportunity for public comments, where anyone can ask a question or present. Usually, someone from Maryland Realtors, currently that's Krista McGee, is going to present what they are working on. Maryland Realtors is the largest association or board in the state. What they're going to be working on in 2024 is a proposal to tackle continuing education. Here, the proposal is that instead of Brenda waiting till, I guess, last minute to complete my continuing education, their proposal is to have a 30-day window where I need to complete within 30 days of my licensure expiration. Another proposal from Maryland Realtors is to have anonymous complaints on advertising. Here's where we as licensees would be able to police each other, and the process would move a little bit quicker than what it is right now. That process is lengthy, and for things like advertising, especially on social media, that could be tackled quicker or could change in a matter of 24 hours. This is the proposal that is going to be in place. I'll keep you posted on where we land by the end of the legislative session. I hope you found this useful. Share your thoughts in the comments. Definitely like, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. I'll see you next month when we present what they spoke about in the Real Estate Commission meeting. Take care.